rise. You already know the vibes, not the vibes. All right, so you see it. In continuance to the understanding of stillness, people are taking it and running with it in their own particular way. And I like that, regardless of the fact. But let's be in mind that regardless of when you're dealing with, you have to find it in the worst places. Like, it's easy to do it when it's not really needed. It's like you can say a lot of things when you don't really have to, because you're not really faced with anything. But then at the worst situation, do you call or do you stay? Do you bow? What does it look like? Where is your vulnerability? And transcendence. Stillness is the occupation of everything in existence. You got all types of life around you and all different types of particular attributes and all these different versions of life. They just sit there. They never move. I just heard something dope, like a poem this guy was talking about or whatever, and he was saying, like, when you lost in the woods and you need to find, or the elder was telling the kids, like, they lost, when you lost in the woods, what do you do? Or they asked the elder, what do you do? Right? And the elder was like, this is a poem, like the elder was like, well, the bushes beside you, the trees in front of you, and the trees behind you are there. They're here where you are at that current moment. So they're not lost. But you think that you're lost. Everything that you're around is here at the current moment. And because it's here, you don't see that. So the best thing to do in any situation is be still. Just be still. But when you truly step into the sincere aspect of what that is, all the thoughts start to rush in. You get all the physical thoughts, right? The things that how you perceive life. And none of that is divine, right? Because the trees just stay like, and ultimately we test it on so many different levels. Like the adversary be mad as shit. The adversary be trying to make shit happen on so many levels. You don't even see it coming. You just kind of go with the flow of things. I heard this individual I just subscribed to say something in their video. They was like, and I remember having a dream like that a long time ago. They was like you was in your soaring season, and then you came down, and then you started running with it. And then when you came down and started running with it, you got tired of doing the work divine had you doing, so you started walking with the divine. And these are different levels that you match up to, despite how you personally feel about anything. That's just you in continuance of discipline. So you stay doing the same thing, regardless of the value that it produces at the moment. Yeah, of course, you in that good energy, you soaring, you feeling shit good, and then you gonna land. And now you gotta run super fast carrying that same stuff. And then after you run with it for a while, you may get tired doing the work. You get weary. So now divine walking with you. That's almost like footprints, if y'all don't remember footprints. You know what I'm saying? Like the plaque that would be on the wall. So despite the value, we get mixed up in the motion because now for nothing, we we're not focusing on everything that's still around us, right? Everything that's still, and you can see it growing in its own attribute and divine energy. Like nobody focuses on that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody says, yo, look at everything divine created, not doing anything. It's just still. And it always knows where it is. It's never lost. Spiritually, mentally, or physically, it's never lost. It's disturbed in its place of existence, but it's never lost. And that right there is an ultimate connection to divine, knowing that that creation itself is obedient without even saying so. And you can see that because that's how it's created to be. So why wouldn't you get information from that source of reality? Why wouldn't you go make yourself still within creations? Divine, it was a passage I came across a long time ago. To know divine is to know the creation. You see stillness. Why would the unstoppable object, why would the unmovable object try to copy behind unstoppable force. In its own definition, the unstoppable force is ego. It's telling you I'm unstoppable. But the unmovable object, it just don't move. It's not ego. That's what it's been saying for eons. It don't move. It knows everything. It doesn't move. It's attached to everything. But what is the unstoppable force? Your flesh. You gotta see something, gotta feel something, gotta chase something. Loses the self-control or the value of its own containment and then reach farther out in life like it's missing out on something. Whether it's interfering with life, bringing detriment to some aspect, whether you are carrying an inadmissible energy like negative energy towards people, all these things subsequent and foul into energy. Then they start reciprocating their self within you and they gain momentum because they're sitting in you. That's like them multiplying or changing parts of you to be more stronger because that negative energy now has a home within your existence that's supposed to promote stillness. But because it came into you, you started running around. You couldn't stop. You couldn't stay still. You started becoming lost. And then they reversed that on you. It was like, yo, Supreme, I had a supernatural encounter with Jesus Christ. I prayed to him 2 years ago because I found myself in a dark place. And he actually answered my prayers. I started to believe, and shortly after, he healed my addictions and my mental health issues I was struggling with for 14 years. In a matter of days, the Lord also healed my hands, and the next day I requested it. I had severe pain from work. All praises. Blind faith isn't requirement, and Jesus answers when you seek him out sincerely. You know, easily said in representation to your standpoint, eloquently placed. I like your truth and your aspect of reality. That's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, the aspect of the true actuality and your understanding of what you believe in, your Jesus, and that retrospect of falsity, how they place time and all that, your Jesus still spoke to his connection to the Almighty first, and how the Almighty sent him as a messenger. Even the story that within religion that you guys use as a part of a segue to say, you know, this is a powerful notion of Jesus. In a quote, Jesus even told the lady that reached out for his garb that this garb means nothing. But that sentiment in itself was made to a value to institute a level of divinity. And Jesus was just saying, yo, I'm the messenger. I brought this to show you what to do because you have a mind of your own. Naturally, we can all rise to our individual light, to the divine itself, the creator that gave that individual existence. Even in this apartheid to grow, it had to reach, Jesus had to reach to the level of divine, which gave you guys your own confusion of mixing up if that was God and what God that it represented spoke in difference to. So in the same value, nobody gives love to the Almighty that gives life to everything. You carry a piece of the soul of divine, not Jesus. And the respect should be given to the house you stay in because the divine creates everything, even your Jesus. That power that Jesus had that was able to do X, Y, Z that you believe in so much, it came from something. He didn't do that itself. He grew towards that. And that was an acknowledgement in itself, but yet nobody still gives no unconditional love to the supreme creator of all things, good, bad, and indifferent, all creators. Nobody does that. It's not even a retrospective answer. It's very selfish if you ask me, because it's like if I come in your house and I do what I want because I'm great, you're going to say, yo, this is still my house. I'm going to need you to abide by my rules. And that's what Jesus said to y'all in reference to what his father gave him the knowledge on. We ain't got to go too deep, but all praises to the Most High, supreme creator of all creators, good, bad, and indifferent. You heard? That's how I stand on that. You know what I'm saying? I do give respect to my brothers that do choose to walk in the light because all of us have that path in the flesh. But divine also said that we're imperfect in the flesh, and the light that's given is our perfection. Divine called us by name. Called us by name. We changed the names. We changed the names to suit our ego. So at the end of the day, you need to put down the ways of the world and follow yourself into nothingness within the divine and get that unconditional true love and walk that pathway, separate from everything, so then you can rise individually, just like what you follow that you call Jesus, even though his name and lettering couldn't have been created in the time he was existing. So we throwing slang names around. We could do that, I guess. But, you know, I ain't never been that type of person to play those particular type of games, especially not with the Almighty. You know what I'm saying? And I give my respect to the Almighty first and foremost, all times. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I hear you. I respect your journey and your pathway. You know what I'm saying? So, besides that, yeah, for me, it's all praises to the supreme creator of all creators, good, bad, and indifferent. You heard? So, yeah. But I do appreciate you sharing, you know, your testimony, because that's dope. You know, there's many walks in life that allow us to grow towards that direction, and respect to all directions that give you grace and divinity in any aspect. Me personally, I'm just not a follower. I follow the supreme creator because that's what gave us all life. I do respect all the ones that, you know, represent it and that value of divinity. You know what I'm saying? But in retrospect to the truth, we're all breathing the breath of divinity, which is divine itself, not one individual man. You can't be that oblivious to life itself. And, you know, despite propaganda, some people seek control and they use word plays and energy to make you feel indifferent to your actuality. Divine is endless. The divine creator, the energy, not a physical person, the energy of all things that's known and unknown to man, that energy is endless. And when you tap into that energy, that's like putting a drop of water back in the ocean. Of course, purity can be within you, but you by yourself is just your own individual aspect of healing, growth, and comprehension. You know, that's like class. But in the work of doing divine work, you would have to go back to the factory, right? You would have to be a part of the ocean to cultivate that pure, high divine energy to bring it to people who are lost. And lost is what? Separation from a value of uncomprehensible to your own existence. That's where lost comes from, because you start believing what the world says opposed to what divine created. See, simplicity, divine will always be, but when you start to digress into confusion, you end up walking away from divinity consciously and agreeing to it because it makes sense, not because the sense is already there. I don't have to fix something that's not broken. I fix something that's not broken. But you'll let people tell it, they'll have you believing that divine is flawed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then people will start bouncing off other people's perception and reality. Nah, the actuality is this little space and time is a pinhead on top of a needle where we at on Earth. Existence itself is massive, unfathomable, undocumented, and unmeasured. That's why measurement is always trying to be made. You don't do something because you know, you do it because you don't know. So even the idealistic value of people creating things to even try to measure the depths of the universe or even tap into anything unfathomable to your existence in itself is asinine. But yet we play with these realities because we like to feel bigger than what we are. I ain't got no ego. I don't carry burdens. I walk behind divine. Call me whatever you want. You believe whatever you want. But I'm going to say the actual truth is that no matter what nobody has to say, there's nothing to battle within that concept. There's no measurement to match up to. It's the divine creator of all things, the way of divine, good, bad, and indifferent over all creators. And then it's the way of man. That's where your good and your bad comes in, within the concept of being tender as a man, a physical man in your flesh, knowing that you bleed. That was told to you, your imperfection. So you don't digress to the soul that's given to you. You don't make motions from your actuality. You make motions from your tenderness, from the way your flesh feels. Divine is almighty. Digress with that one. And if you're trying to learn to be that, where you were supposed to be, if divine created you, then that means you're a child of divinity. So obviously you would be growing in the same direction of what created you, right? Deers have baby deers and they grow up to be bigger deers, right? Humans have little humans and they grow up to be bigger humans. You know what I'm saying? Birds have little birds, they grow up to be bigger birds, so forth and on. You can fit it in existence. So if divine's energy was what gave me the inside of me, my spark of life, what animated my physical flesh, that's imperfect in its own value, then that means I was supposed to rise the soul above my imperfection. That's common sense. That's common sense. But when you're a follower, you can't use actual logic. When you're a follower, you're trying to pull the options of what somebody's giving you to think. You're going to where they put the books at. You're going to where somebody had a speech. You're going to where this 80,000 people believe the idiot. Like it's not an option. You act like these are not reality that takes place. Y'all act like every time there's a mass of people, what's said must be correct. So if it's windy outside, it always feel good. If everybody jump off the roof, you gonna jump too. Divine said where it's simple at, that's where you supposed to be. Stay away from the confusion. What you want to pick up all them burdens for? You want to say something to put somebody down? You want to make somebody feel stupid? You want to be like, I know the truth about this and you don't. If you want to do that, that's burdens. That's too much to carry. That's a lot of idiocy. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make nobody feel bad because it's burdens. So I say nothing. But if I do say something, it's going to be in a retrospect of giving a praise to the Almighty Creator that gives everything life. Who am I to even want to seek judgment? Yes, we have many testimonies based off how far you are away from the light. You have a great testimony, especially by one of the guides of divinity. Yeah, the guides come out to go find our super lost ones. Yeah, the ones that are really, really lost, you can't tap into the divine yourself. The guides will come get you and put that work on you real quick and rise you up so you can see through them that divine is real. Just like you watch through a TV to watch a movie, you can see through the ones that follow divinity, that don't put their flesh first. You can see through them what discipline looks like because you so lost, a physical person had to come get you, not divine. You too hard-headed. You couldn't see it. So something had to come get your ass for you fell apart. All praises to the Most High. The depths of actuality ain't never expressed to its full contempt. You know why? Because everybody don't want to take accountability. You want to just say, oh, life is fucked up. Life ain't fucked up. Your decisions is crazy. Your decisions is crazy. Oh, I just did this. You just did that? How you know that's for you? Divine got a timeline for every creation in existence. Divine know every grain of sand, can call it by name, just like all the stars. So why would divine give you everybody's life? No, you're just fucking greedy. So you find yourself in situations that you're not supposed to deal with, and that shit hurts. Then you got to find a way to get out of it. Once you get in it, divine can get you out, but you got to bow and let divine know, I can't do this shit. But you might not want to do that because some people be wrapped in control. I don't want to control nothing. All praises to the supreme creator of all creators, good, bad, and indifferent. The main creator of all things. They talk all the stories about everybody who failed at some point, who rose to a piece of light and then fell back down because they stayed in the body. Yeah, they tell you about death, but how many times you hear about transcendence? Like divine ain't say life is everlasting. So you subsequent that notion to the spirit being transmuted into bodies instead of saying, oh, this person might have just stayed disciplined so long. Divine said everlasting life. We talking about an entity or an energy that can do anything because it's within an infinite energy. Never stops. So if I want to be conscious, knowing that my mind is attached to that and my soul, and I want to know knowledge, I don't want to obtain knowledge. I want to be in the flow of everything. So all I got to do is look up and I got it. Think about what? I ain't got to think about nothing when everything is attached to the supreme. I'm just going to be obedient enough to tap into that shit and pull it down when I need. While y'all running over there to get these people to help y'all playing middlemans. I ain't doing none of that. I don't want nothing between me and the creator. Nothing. I don't cheat, I'm loyal. I don't cheat, I'm loyal. You're supposed to make that mentality up in yourself at some point. Like, yeah, I appreciate you guiding me this far, but I'm ready to make a real personal connection with the Supreme Creator. You're supposed to step up. That's the greater thing you would be able to acknowledge and see. But if you can't see that, that's because you're in that comfortable place. that comfortable place of having somebody do it for you. Nah, the real strength, it come from we ain't got nothing to lean on. And you just gotta deal with it. You gotta eat it. And you gotta be still with it. And all the feelings that come, you have to be able to let them bypass, filter them through, and still give it to the divine when it's the most heaviest. That's the true walk. Because now you forging your flesh. You're forging your flesh based off how you feel. You curving that feeling. Yeah, that gut pain, that headache, that anxiety, you forging it. You taking the feeling and you bending it to the laws of divinity. That's where your weakness at anyway. Your weakness is how you feel and your tenderness. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, that, that. All that. You gotta let it hit you. Suffer it. Break down. And still let divine. How tough you is though. If you tough for everything else, you can't be tough for the divine. I'm just saying. I don't be talking enough. I don't be talking about nothing. I just give praises to Most High. That's it. All my retrospects understanding is all directed that way. I take nothing for myself. Nothing. Shit. Even when I pray, I be like, divine, you know I'm stupid. You know I'll mess it up, yo. I will mess it up. I'll mess it up, divine. You better go ahead and step in, yo. All right, man, look. Divine be like, your honesty is refreshing. We all imperfect in this world. And we all make decisions based off our flesh. That's that inherent evil that you don't even want to rationalize to. You just say, oh, I'm just being me. The world done got y'all twisted in your head. And y'all keep putting more stuff on top of your turtle shell, walking around with all this bullshit, and don't even realize that you're carrying burdens. Carrying them. All praises to the Most High, yo. Salvation will always be there. Salvation will always be there. And if you give the Almighty the same thing that give your other beliefs a shot, oh man, you about to get the real juice. Because you ain't even opened up your book of life yet. You too busy attaching yourself to shit. But divine, like, I'm about to show you who you is. Let's open up your book of life. Let me take you within you. You scared of that though. You scared to face yourself. That's why it sound good talking about other people doing shit for you. It's like saying, yo, a rich man came and bought me this. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did this for me. You feel good about yourself because somebody of value came and stepped in. What's the value? Somebody that told you this person was valuable? What about what made it valuable? You give love to your parents, they made you. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm just trying to show you something, man. NAGA the Wise.